Good evening, Laconia. It's the end of yet another gray day here in the Cascade Mountains, and while the sun may be off to sleep, we here at the Laconia broadcast are only just waking up. Why? Because if you want to catch the things that go bump in the night, you have to think like them. And what kind of self-respecting show would we be if we promised our dear listeners a ghost and didn't deliver? If you're easily frightened, maybe pass on this one. We're covering all sorts of spooks, ghosts, and specters that are guaranteed to frighten and delight. I'm your host, Cal Lichowski, and before we take our first call of the evening and plunge into the unknown, we've got the last of today's news, coming to you live from Jaime Gonzales. Jaime, with so many of our listeners off to homecoming this Friday, what would you say is the perfect song to woo that special someone? Baby's first date at the dance is a serious occasion after all.
Well, Cal, thanks for asking. But before I start on dating advice, we should get through tonight's program. Right, folks. Today was only somewhat cloudy, which is almost cause for celebration. Sadly, I see low rain clouds coming in from the east, and they do not look friendly. I'd advise you to bring an umbrella if you plan to be out past midnight. We'll also see temperatures drop from the mid-60s to the high 40s, so keep your windows shut and pull out an extra blanket. This Friday is homecoming night at Laconia Senior High School. We'll be playing Mount C, with the game starting at 6 and doors opening for the dance at 8. Tickets can be bought outside the main pack entrance.
Can't miss it.
Right. You can't miss it.
So, Jaime, what is your perfect song?
I'm getting to it. You're so impatient today. We wanted to remind all those homecoming attendees that since we're doing the music for the dance, they can request songs by calling in or sending a message to the station's Twitter.
That they can. Good reporting, Jaime, even if you do seem determined to keep your musical taste private.
I said I'd get to my song choice after getting through the news, yes? What's the saying? Curiosity killed the cat?
I get it.
Besides homecoming, this Saturday is the annual bonfire party by the Lakeshore Lighthouse. If it's anything like last year, things will get going around 8 p.m. and die down by 1.
Come for as long or as short as you'd like. While we adults can look forward to a relaxing night kicking back by the lake, well, all I can say is good luck to the kids fumbling their way through the first flush of love. I salute you. Now, listeners, I actually do know Jaime's music taste from years of hosting a radio show by his side. But try as I might, he will not tell me the secret behind his workout routine. I have spaghetti arms, dear listeners, and Jaime in his unending cruelty will not share his secret stash of protein powder or roids. Believe me, that man is harder to crack than... Oh? Has Jaime had a change of heart? It seems my colleague is trying to get the spotlight back on him. What do you have to say for us, Jay?
Cal, I'm sorry to bring down the mood, but... we've got an update on Courtney's condition. He had a heart attack last night, but thanks to the quick actions of the staff at Snoqualmie Valley Hospital, he was resuscitated. He's stable now, but isn't taking any visitors. We know people want to know more details about his situation, but out of respect for Courtney and his family's privacy, we are only reporting the most basic facts.
Well, you heard it here first. Courtney, we wish you the best and hope for your speedy recovery. You always popped right back up when you got knocked down on the playground, so there's precedent. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Today, listeners, we bring you a very special ghost hunting episode. We'll be taking calls for an hour, so call in with any sort of unexplained phenomena or local tales. After that, we move on to the main event. Our town's own Peter Crampton has reached out to us regarding a lakeside haunting, and we'll be going on site to interview him and investigate. Exciting, isn't it? Could this be a Rusalka? A Kelpie? Another water spirit as of yet unknown to science? Or maybe even a mermaid? That mystery is why we're here today, to explore the unexplored and explain the unexplained. The answer to life itself, the answer to life beyond death, all will be revealed right after this ad break. going to be taking calls for the next hour, so give us a ring at If you've got a ghost story to tell, a town legend to unbury, or just want to request a song as a backing track for your late night seances, again, that's call us up to talk ghosts, ghouls, and your best guesses as to what haunts the forest around our fair town. We've got Aiting Li on the line. You're live on KLCR AM with the Laconia broadcast. What have you got for us?
Hey Cal, long-time listener, long-time caller here. I've got more details about the bonfire party on Saturday. Food and drinks are the same this year. We have snacks and beer, but if anyone feels like bringing stuff to share, that'd be super. It's like a potluck, you get me? Yeah, so we're going to start setting up by 7 p.m., so if anyone wants to help, you're totally welcome to. Just come see me and I'll point you somewhere that needs another pair of hands. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. I'm Absurdity, spelled AIBSURDTI. And, if you see me around town and just want to chat, that's totally chill, as long as I'm not rushing.
That's great, Aiting. Anything else you want to tell our listeners?
Oh yeah, so you were asking about ghost stories, right? And it reminded me of something my roommate told me about last year. There's this pool in the school gym, and she told me it was haunted, and I didn't really believe her, which I feel super bad for now because she was so right. I wanted to see what was up, so I snuck in at night. It was trippy as fuck. I saw myself in the water, but a million different me's, all at the same time, in a million different places. I was thinking a lot about me and who I am and who I want to be. And this was right before I started my break from school, so I was thinking super hard about it. Anyways, I fell into the water. I saw myself and she was so scared. Which is strange because I'm normally pretty good at dealing with that kind of shit. I know all these grounding exercises for panic attacks, but she wasn't doing any of them. So I was just like, hey babes, what's up with that? And she was just staring. She looked a little older than me too, which was extra weird because her face was off, but she was still me. She turned away from me, and I saw her shadow wasn't normal. It's like a hole in the world, and through it's just sand. It was some weird-ass white sand too, kind of prismatic. I've never seen anything like it, and I was majoring in geology, so I've looked at a lot of sand. She turned away, and her shadow kind of wavered, and she just reached and stretched, and then she was gone. I figured it was kind of symbolic. I'm me, and there's all these versions of me clinging to these different ideas of who I am. But maybe it's time to let some of them go. Some things become abject for a reason, you know? Anyways, they fished me out of the water, and I was so high I could barely answer any of their questions. But it really stuck with me.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Aiting. When I mentioned we were on the hunt for supernatural experiences, we were asking about local history. But that's certainly a tale to be told. It even comes gift-wrapped with a moral at the end and everything.
Oh, I know. I live here, so I'm pretty sure I count as local history.
Well, I can't argue with that. Thank you for your story, and we'll see you at the party. Okay. Our next caller is... Caller ID unknown. You're on KLCR AM with the Laconia broadcast, and we're so excited to see what mysteries you have in store. First, can we get a name?
Call me Lichowski.
Not the full name. That hurts. Low blow unknown. Low blow.
Your soul is 4 feet. Alive traded for alive. We have him already. There's no escape.
Hey, my soul is a premium item, you hear? I don't know what kind of racket you're trying to run, but this beating heart is not up for grabs. I mean, I haven't really grappled with if I believe in souls, but if I do have one, it's mine, and I want it.
And stealing human body parts is illegal.
Exactly! Even if it's intangible, a soul counts.
It's actually against eBay's rules to list your soul because of that.
Old Courtney's soul is in our grasp. If you wish to atone for your crimes and save him from fate for and death, murderer, then henceforth you better follow our commands. Or else.
Hey, don't you think this is kind of topical for a prank call?
We demand you come to the tunnel, unarmed and alone.
What? Why announce this on live radio if you're trying to get me all on my lonesome?
Yes. Come at midnight with only a camera and your co-host, and we'll reveal everything. Damn it, Alissandra!
Guess it was only the Goth kids. I actually was believing that. Cal?
I didn't even say my name right. How am I supposed to be a radio personality when no one says my name correctly? Alas, let's move on from that and go to the next call. With us, we've got another caller ID unknown. Seems to be catching on. Hello, unknown 2 Electric Boogaloo. You're live on KLCR AM with the Laconia broadcast. What do you have to say to us on this?
You wake up to the end of the world. Your comrades lay scattered on the ground in front of you. Bodies dotting the ravaged wasteland that was, a very long time ago, your home. The battlefield is still smoking from all the sick explosions that marked your last stand. And the bodies of your friends haven't even had the chance to cool when you hear it. Something thrums through the earth. It sounds again. And this time, the vibrations are strong enough to send pebbles flying, dancing to a song you can't hear. A hand twitches. The bodies of your friends pull themselves to attention, and then to dance. You hear a low rumble, and drums, loud, sick drums, banging away in the distance. The ground tears out from under you. Dirt flying through the air as you're surrounded by dead bodies. Zombies busting out the best dance moves you've ever seen. Suddenly, you see it. The raddest band ever! The trenches play so good they raise the dead from their cold and boring rest. So remember to follow us on Twitter and buy our...
Guac apologizes for the lack of introduction. We're the Trenches, and we can't wait to play for you this Friday.
Oh, well, that's one way to make an introduction. Anything else you guys want to say to our listeners? I heard you were looking to put out an album in a month or two.
You want the inside scoop, don't you? No can do, Cal. If you want an exclusive interview, you have to go through our agent.
Who's your agent?
Spikes.
Spikes was a construction agent years ago.
And you know that?
Seems like you guys have a mole. Good luck with that. Not. Is there anything else you want to say to our listeners before you go?
If you want to request song covers, ask us before Saturday. You can still ask us on Saturday, but I can't promise we'll know the lyrics, or the bass line, or the beats, or anything.
I'll be sure to send in my request soon. Thanks for calling, guys. We're all excited to see you live. It's always nice to hear from those guys.
How did you know about the construction thing?
Oh, I saw her a lot at the hardware store back when I worked there. We chatted.
Fair enough. That introduction freaked me out, though. I thought it was another prank call. Or, something. Anyways, let's go to our next caller, yeah?
Thank God for good old-fashioned shameless promotion. Wow, that's my cell number. Hello, dear listener. You're live on KLCR AM, the Laconia broadcast. Who are you? What are you doing with my number? Hello? Those were not rhetorical questions, my good sir. Well, this is weird. Jaime?
That's our last caller for a bit. Be right back, folks, and enjoy some music.
I look in the mirror. My reflection stares back. It is folded and chipped in the tarnished glass, set into the wall of the worn and messy bathroom that I share with Jaime. His things mingle with mine. A razor, an eyeshadow palette, 2 toothbrushes sitting in an otherwise empty glass. It is only a small comfort that the image is not identical. The illusion of a perfect parallel has cracked, but not shattered. The endless coast drawn in ever more detail as the inevitable rends self from same. There is something to be reached yet. I squint, and my reflection follows suit, mimicking my actions with a sharp-edged clarity. It's become increasingly hard to find fidelity in reflections. Order, the old truth, has diminished as reality unspools into fractals and void. You blink and see sights that cut your eyes like powdered glass. Feel the caress of the silk-chilled void, thrumming like a meltwater river. My phone hangs in my hand, a lifeline. I spoke on the other end, voice ringing like the green fronds of a tree fern caught by a golden sun. My voice burns at the back of my throat, like a damnation. I don't remember the last time I sounded so. I do not fear dying. It is a simple fact that the worst part of dying isn't in the dying, it's in the waiting. Death is stable on the global scale. It waits for us all. But the uncertainty, the how, the why, that is when the fear slips into your heart and makes a home, dripping through your atria like a creeping moss. It is parasitic, roots in wet dirt and lost dead things, a network of decay grown intertwined and unshakable. In that sense, suppose I did Courtney a favor. I stabilized the local uncertainty of his death. He was a good person. I'm sorry that he's gone. I am not sorry that I did what needed to be done. He looks so angry. First time I talked to him since middle school and he accuses me of murder. Then fucks off to get comaed immediately after. Figures. And now I have to deal with being investigated for his mysterious disappearance. The whole song and dance of, "Did you ditch your Courtney in the woods, Carmillo?" No, I fucking didn't, Mr. Officer. I'm pretty sure I was at work, or home alone watching the 1927 silent film Metropolis and eating salted caramel ice cream in my pajamas. You know, like a law-abiding freak. Can't really remember what I was up to the day he disappeared, if I'm honest. What with it being 3 years back and not really on my calendar until people started sending out search parties. Shit. Morrow was right. He did talk like static. Something's weird here. Well, besides, everything. He was dead. We all knew he was dead.
Cal, you've said that at least 10 times since Rosa dropped us off. You're not going to learn anything by repeating the same words over and over and over.
Yes, but what changed?
It's like I'm not even here.
Cal, while I agree that none of this is normal, is that thing on? Kyle, if you're going to record us, at least tell us first.
And get some good audio while you're at it. You never know when a random soundbite will come in handy.
Of course that's what you're worried about. Hand it over, Kyle. This one turns on by itself sometimes. I thought I told you that.
Sorry, dudes. My bad.
We'll be back with you in a second.
Enjoy the music! Are we live?
Yeah.
Yeah, all good, Cal.
Great. Hello and welcome back, darling listeners. We're coming to you live right outside Mr. Peter Crampton's house, who called us up a few days ago, desperate to get his story out to the world. Mr. Crampton is a Laconia resident, born and raised. Though, little known fact about Mr. Crampton, his who knows how many times great-grandfather actually invented a type of crampon. You know, the climbing equipment. They sold the patent off to REI or something and made bank. There's rumors they're the ones who kept this whole town afloat after the railroad business dried up.
Stop messing with the listeners, Cal. It's a British last name.
Right again, Jaime. In retrospect, Annabeth might have been messing with me when she told me that as a kid. She paid me to cat sit one summer in middle school, you know. Regardless, we're here and he has a story to tell, so let's head inside to meet him. Hello, Mr. Crampton. We heard you had a burning story that was just begging to be told.
Oh yes, the radio. I almost forgot I called you. Please come in and call me Peter. It makes me feel like I'm not such an old man. How do I do this? Do I talk into that microphone or...
Just talk to me like you would in a normal conversation, and our audio crew will take care of the rest.
Right.
So, what did you hear? When did you hear it? And what about it made you want to call us in to investigate?
Oh, so professional. Forgive me if it takes me a moment to collect my thoughts. I was walking along the path that winds down the cliffs and past the lighthouse when it happened. It's a very pretty walk. I should know. I've been hiking it for 20 years now and it never gets old. Heck, I could probably walk in the dark from memory alone. I actually took my wife there on our first date. I didn't love her yet. We barely knew each other, but when I saw her, squinting from the sun in her eyes and grinning at me as I lagged behind, I knew I wanted to be the reason she kept smiling. Her smile was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I took her last name, you know?
That's lovely, Peter. Is that trail where you saw the ghost?
Oh yes. Where was I with that? I've gone a bit hard of hearing with age. Too much time in lumber mills without any hearing protection is what my doctors tell me. So I'm used to things sounding muddy. I'm not used to it when everything stops. I may have only been on a plane 4 times in my life, but the pressure I felt in my ears as the wall went still felt just like that. Then my ears popped, and suddenly I could hear waves, which, if you remember your elementary school science classes, doesn't make a lick of sense. Even though I was by the lecture, lakes don't have tides in the same way the ocean does, but I heard them crashing all the same. With the sound came a terrible loneliness. The feeling was weighted in a way that scared me. It felt like something was sitting on my chest, a terribly heavy something. Just breathing felt like exercise. For a moment, I was worried I might be having a heart attack, but it felt nothing like last time, so I hoped I was safe, in body, if not in mind. I took a step forward. I was by the lighthouse, at the shore of the lake, but also not. I had taken one step and suddenly everything was ever so slightly to the left. Annabeth once played an incredible prank on me, moving all my things just an inch out of order when I was away one weekend, and this felt exactly like that. The beach was there, the lake was there, and the lighthouse of course was there, but none of it was right. My home wasn't my home. The trees weren't my trees. The spot where I first kissed my wife was alien to me. I took another step, and something crunched under my foot. It looked like a bulbous lump of salt. Little white crystals deposited across the sand. I looked over the lakeshore and realized it covered the entirety of the beach. It was prismatic. It was beautiful. It was dead. I was struck in that moment with the thought that I was the only one left in this whole world. It was a carcass, and I was standing on its bones. Whatever lived here was long since gone, which felt ridiculous to think. I know my neighbors, and I know my town. I knew people were alive just down the street, and yet I couldn't trust that. I opened my mouth to speak, but the crashing of the waves stole my words as fast as I could make them. I couldn't hear my own voice for more than a second before it floated away from my mouth and got entangled with the breeze.
Could I get you some water?
I'm alright, but thank you. As I was saying, the waves took all the other noises away. They felt magnetic, almost inescapable. I didn't like that one bit, so I took the almost inescapable as a personal challenge, removed my hearing aids, and walked in the other direction. Step after step, the salt covering the dead world crumbled and shattered underfoot. And then I blinked, and I was home. The trees were right, the gravel underfoot was slimy with algae, and the looming waves crashed into the silence as quickly as they arrived.
Oh my god. That must have been horrifying, Mr. Peter. We'll look into it.
Thank you for the interview, Peter. I promise you that we'll do everything we can to investigate your story and return to you with our findings.
Oh, no worries. It was just nice to have a chance to tell someone about it. Ever since my dear Celeste passed, well, you're welcome anytime. I have lots of old stories to tell.
We are not following up on this right now. I want to sleep, and it's obviously tinnitus.
Are we gonna ignore how he almost fainted? The guy looked more dead than Courtney.
Bro, too soon. I haven't even been fully cleared of suspicion for his murder yet.
Mr. Crampton has always been level-headed. You should at least treat him with dignity. And respect his testimony for what it is.
Right. And really, guys, this is just too weird to pass up. Tomorrow we can help Rosa look into the lighthouse's history. And the tunnels. I want to see if there's any connection. For now, look at the audio broadcast to see if we got any waves like he described. Or just anything weird. Dylan, if you could also check why the camera has been so faulty lately, that'd be great. I'd love it if we could have video for the bonfire. Meanwhile, Jaime and I will look around and see what we find. Sounds good?
Aye, aye, Captain.
See you at work tomorrow.
Well, listeners.
Cal, you know what I think of this, right? Don't get me wrong, the story was creepy, and I want to look into it for Mr. Crampton's sake, if nothing else, but...
Jaime, I think maybe, perhaps, there might be someone watching us behind the lighthouse. It's probably nothing, but... Listeners, why don't you enjoy a quick break and enjoy some relaxing tunes? See you soon.
Cal, what are you...
Jaime, turn it off. Sorry about the abrupt cutoff, listeners. We wanted to make sure it wasn't one of you using our live, obviously location-marked broadcast to stalk us. You're here with Jaime, your dashing weatherman, and me, Cal, your fabulous host, as we wander through the forest to see what the big deal is. Right now it's, let's see, about 2 a.m., so we've got around an hour of broadcast time left before we pivot to music for the rest of the night. Let's make the most of it.
Are you sure you want to keep broadcasting while we walk? Like, in silence?
What a non-believer. I thought we'd talk about the strange happenings in town, or give our dearling listeners some scary movie recommendations to keep them company in the cold, dark, lonely night that awaits them after our broadcast ends.
Strange happenings? Like, Courtney's sudden appearance?
Precisely. What about you, Jaime? Do you think I stranded Courtney in the woods from the counter of my old cashier job?
Well... I mean, you said he was dead, right?
Well, he obviously wasn't. But at the time, yeah, we all thought so. They never identified them, but they found some skeletal remains a year later, all gooped up with these mushroom growths, all totally decomposed. No clothes, no identifying features. The dental records came back negative. Still, even though it wasn't a match, most people took it as a sign he was gone.
Mycelium.
What?
That mushroom thing in the ground was mycelium. Probably.
Damn. You always got something like that, you know? Like, whenever something happens, you somehow always know a cool little factoid about it already. It's kind of scary.
I read a lot. It's a good way to pass the time, and I learn a lot from it. Even in fiction, you'd be surprised by how much useful information you pick up. I only know what a pneumothorax is because of a superhero comic I picked up once. It's random, but it's nice. Right. We should go big faster, because this is going to take forever with your short legs, Cal. Hey. Cal? They were here a second ago. If you really didn't want to listen to me, you could have just said so instead of running off. Cal? Is that you? Gods, you really need to stop running off whenever you please. I'm going to put a tracker on you one day if you keep pulling this shit. I swear to the gods above. Did you find anything? Please just talk to me. I'm sorry if you get mad just because I called you short. I know your average height. You always respond with that. And you're walking away. Fine. Okay, enough. Stop running. Are you... Why are there so many of you?
The edge is more unstable than I've seen in weeks. Reality worn ragged, peeling away at my fingertips. Annabeth was right. It wasn't always like this. Jaime? Jaime? Jay? Oh! Holy shit, Jaime. Don't scare me like that, dude. I nearly fell into the creek. That's a lie. I did fall into the creek. My skirt is totally soaked. But anyways, it's not like that matters. You've been gone for hours. It's just been dead air from you. I was really... Jaime? Hey, it's okay. What's wrong? What did you see? Jaime? Oh man, I broke the recorder. Crap. Dylan's gonna kill me. Hey, come on. Imagining Dylan ritually sacrificing me over equipment didn't make you laugh? Not even a chuckle? Okay. Think about me presenting the weather. That'd be, like, totally awful, right? I think it'd take me 20 minutes to get through the temperature. Either way, we can finish this another day. Come on, let's go. Well, dear listeners, that is all for tonight. Enjoy your well-deserved rest. I know we will. Oh, and before we go, this is your quick, last-minute reminder that this Friday is homecoming at Laconia High. So don't miss your once in every 4 years until you graduate high school opportunity to suggest the song for your special someone. And good night, Laconia.